in the human form that is not capable of this. But listen to the ideas that have rolled down through the centuries about that. What are the odds? Well, let's see, 10 in 100 million, or 10 in 100,000. You know, there is the thought. And then how can I possibly be the one in the 100,000? Or even if you get it down to 10,000. Nobody's ever said that, but if they ever said that, there would be a part of the mind that would wise up and say, but not for me. It won't, but then I've got, then show me how. Show me how. How do I do it? How do I do it? So, if you go way back to the beginning of all these things that have been recorded and passed down, to the things that are being spoken now, it's always at the core of it the same. It's happening now. And you don't have to do anything to be what you already are. You are. You are. You don't know what you are. But you don't wake up in the morning and go, well, let's see, am I me or am I somebody else? I mean, you know, there's a knowing that there is a similarity to what happened before you went to bed, that experience of that magnificent energy and the morning. There is a knowing that there is a wholeness here. You don't experience yourself in separated pieces, do you? Do you really find yourself experiencing yourself in separated pieces? You just flow along. You just flow along, but you don't notice that you're flowing along because you're listening to your mind, and your mind's job is to chop it all up. So the mind chops it all up, hands you a lot of information, none of which you have proved to what? Prove to what? To maintain. What maintains? What is always here? We're back to every great teaching. What is always here? Look for that does not come and go. That's Bartholomew. Look for that does not come and go. And he doesn't mean look. He means just know that there is something here that does not come and go. If we ever needed new good news, to me, this is really good news. That it is not only here, but it is in the active modality of being everything that happens. So, in Tony Parsons' words, it's nothing, that beautiful, magnificent, mysterious, unspeakably wondrous something that becomes everything. But it's everything. It's everything. What I found that I had done in my work with this that was least helpful was I kept taking this physical apparatus out of the picture. And I kept looking at things. I kept looking at things instead of stopping all of that and simply being with things. Now that is the simplest thing of all. It's simply to be with whatever is arising. I don't mean staring at it, be with it, be with it. Just be with it. Be with it, be with it. Whatever it is. If you're focusing on the breath, great. You don't focus. It's happening. It sounds so silly to talk like this, but it is so obvious. It is so incredibly obvious that we have absolutely made it almost impossible to find. And again, so many of the ancient and modern teachers say that in order to make this difficult, this game difficult, God, let's just use that word, manifested as everything. And then the thought arises, I have to find myself. Although myself is in everything. Can we finally have a little laugh at this? Can we finally just loosen up a little and laugh? Because if we die today, so what? So what? So what? So what? Because that which has always, always been present will still be present. And you say to me, oh, big mouth, how do you know? And I'll say to you, well, sweetheart, find out for yourself. You can find out. You can find out. Just takes an instant. Just keep checking. Am I here? Yeah. Oh, am I here? Yeah, I'm here. Someone asked me a very sweet question this weekend. They're talking about what can manifest as a fear of death. And she was pointing out that in one instance, there was an operation performed, and she went under, and then woke up, and the operation was over. And there was no conscious knowing of what had happened in between. This has happened to most of us, I imagine. You know, we're not the ones that wake up and go, oh, I'm in heaven, and I'm looking at angels, you know, there's nothing. And then there's deep sleep, when you're nothing. And so then fear can interpret, because remember, again, it is the mind interpreting. And the mind interprets, especially if this happens to you when you're younger. What is so simple is to really acknowledge that what's happening is that when the psychological, seemingly separate self gets unplugged magically, who knows how, right? There is no memory there to record. So, of course, since we're used to mental thinking, we say, well, I don't know what happened. There was nothing there. That's because the recording mechanism, which is memory, is not activated because it gets pulled with the plug of the whole rest of it. The mystery is who pulls the plug. I love that title, never mind. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, isn't it magnificent that the plug gets pulled? That there are times of every 24 hours, for hopefully many of us, that the plug gets pulled. We don't have to keep on with this rat race of the mind of how am I going to do it and what's going to happen to me and I hope I'm safe and I've got to get, whatever the story would be. Something magnificently pulls the plug. And there's nothing. And when we wake up in the morning, we say, I had a wonderful night. What does it mean? It means you were unplugged. It means there was no memory. It means there was nothing. There was no thing. There was nothing. And then the other wonderful times is when we're on anesthesia, whatever that would be, same thing happens. Whatever that recording memory device gets unplugged. So you don't remember the cutting and the aspirating and all the stuff that goes on. I mean, blessed life. Blessed life. So the one thing that tells us that there is something going on and on and on is experientially possible right now, right here, right here. Because everything continues to move, everything moves, but there is something that never shifts. It never shifts, and you know that, and it just takes a few moments of observation, hopefully on a continuing basis, which is what helped me, but it doesn't have to be for you. Once I really felt that solid, never moving something, I said, oh, that. Oh, that. It was that simple and that easy.